Apple's biggest event of the year, their September event, is now official. This is the invite with a tagline "It's Glow Time," and it is happening next Monday on September the 9th. So here are the 7 main announcements to expect. And speaking of things to expect, we've got some stunning new packs launching in September for our app wallpapers, with our first one being Striving Silhouettes by Splashshade. It features 10 unique 8K designs of characters experiencing sunsets. My favorite ones being the biker, the hiker, the samurai, and the man with a dog, which everyone gets for free. Simply search for wallpapers in the App Store and Play Store, or use the links below to download it for free. Okay, so the first thing to expect, and this is by far the biggest announcement, is of course the iPhone 16 itself. So what's changing with the iPhone 16s? Well, here's a quick recap. To start, the camera orientation will now be changed from a diagonal orientation to a vertical one, to allow us to now shoot spatial video for the Apple Vision Pro. There will also be some brand new colors, such as silver, black, blue, green, and pink, with the 3-color variants being far more vibrant than they were on the iPhone 15s, something that I am very happy to see. I actually compared all these colors and their iPhone 15 counterparts in this video right here, in case you're curious to see all the differences. On top of this, we're also getting the customizable action button from the iPhone 15 Pros on the standard iPhone 16 models too, as well as a new capture button that will be a dedicated button for launching the camera, as well as for taking photos and videos. On top of this, it is set to also support gestures for zooming in and out. But probably the biggest change coming to the standard models will be the A18 chip with 8GB of RAM, up from 6, which will allow for Apple Intelligence on the base models too. Aside from this, the ultra-wide module may support macro, according to some recent rumors, something that the Pro models have had since the iPhone 13 Pros. And the battery size will be getting bigger on the 16 by 5%, however, on the 16 Plus, it will actually be getting smaller by 9%. So there you go, that's pretty much everything in a nutshell regarding the iPhone 16s. Now, the Pro models are getting a couple of more changes, so the biggest one being their size. Both the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max are getting bigger. We even got some dummy units, so you can see the differences right here. The 16 Pro now has a 6.3-inch display, up from 6.1, whereas the 16 Pro Max now has a 6.9-inch display, up from 6.7. I think the size increase on the 16 Pro is actually really good. A 6.3-inch display is still compact yet large enough for you to still be able to enjoy content on. Now, the 16 Pro Max does feel quite big. It does remind me of the 14 Pro Max as opposed to the 15 Pro Max, which was more compact and a bit more comfortable in the hand. Aside from this, the Pro models are also getting that capture button, which I'm really looking forward to, as well as some new colors as well. We'll have silver, black, then a new titanium gray that is said to be darker than the current version, as well as a new gold that may look more brown than gold, at least according to the leaked dummy units. Now, the Pro models are said to be getting some bigger camera changes than the 16s. For example, the 16 Pro Max is likely to get a larger main sensor, possibly close to 1 inch in size, as well as a new 48-megapixel ultra-wide, while the Pro will get the 48-megapixel ultra-wide as well, and the same 5x telephoto as the Pro Max, although it will not get the larger main camera sensor. The 16 Pros will also come with the A18 Pro chip as opposed to the A18 inside the iPhone 16s, which will be a more powerful version of the A18, possibly with more GPU cores. Additionally, we are also said to be getting Wi-Fi 7 in the 16 Pros only, with possibly up to 40 gigabit per second speeds, up from 5.4 gigabits per second, so that's a significant improvement if you've also got a compatible router. The batteries are also getting bigger by 2.5% on the 16 Pro and by 5% on the Pro Max. However, unlike the 16s, the charging speeds are also said to be getting faster, from 27 watts to 40. So these are the main changes coming to the iPhone 16 Pros. However, we will be doing a final Leaks Rumors episode in the upcoming days as well, so do stay tuned for that for a more detailed rundown of all the changes, including some extras that I haven't yet mentioned in this video. Now, aside from the new iPhone 16 models, we are also expecting to see the new Apple Watch Series 10. The initial reports by Mark Gurman were pointing towards this being the biggest change that the Apple Watch has ever received to mark its 10-year anniversary, with a brand new design, one that is also much thinner than now, and with a completely new band mounting mechanism that uses magnets. However, this does not seem to be happening anymore, at least not this year. The latest rumors are pointing towards this being pushed to next year instead. This year, we are simply set to be getting larger versions of the existing design based on the leaked CAD models from June. Essentially, the 41mm model is now set to become a 45, while the 45 is now set to become a 49 size, both still being thinner than the current designs. But yeah, this size increase is likely to be the main and possibly the only notable change of the Apple Watch Series 10. There are no new health sensors rumored. We may get a new chip with a larger neural engine, although given that Apple has only updated their chip for the first time in 4 years last year, I am quite skeptical that we'll see a redesigned chip this year as well. Which brings me to the fourth new product, which is the Apple Watch Ultra 3. And here's the thing. We haven't had any leaks on it whatsoever, so I'm not expecting any major changes here at all. In fact, the only thing that we know about it is from Ming-Chi Kuo, who said the Ultra 3 will have almost no hardware upgrades compared to the Ultra 2. So at best, I'm expecting a new color. That black titanium version that was rumored to launch with the Ultra 2, but never did. And also one that was being tested on the Ultra 1 as a prototype. I would also love to see Apple introduce a new category of bands for the Ultra. Like right now we've got the Trail Loop, the Alpine Loop, and the Ocean Band. I would love to see a fourth type just for the sake of variety. Which brings me to the fifth product to expect at the event, the AirPods 4. And unlike the Apple Watch, the new AirPods will actually come with some significant changes. First off, we are getting two new AirPods models. A new base model that will replace the current second-gen AirPods, and then a new mid-tier model that would replace the AirPods 3. Both models are set to look very similar and almost identical to the AirPods Pro. The only difference being the lack of those silicone ear tips that we have on the Pro models. Okay, so what would be the difference between these two new AirPods models? Well, the mid-tier variants will reportedly feature noise cancelling, which I do find quite odd to include when you don't have that perfect seal that the silicone ear tips can provide, so it won't be as good as on the AirPods Pro. But I do expect it to make some difference compared to the base model, which will lack noise cancelling entirely. The mid-tier model is also set to include the same charging case as the AirPods Pro, with integrated speakers for Find My, as well as a lanyard hole. And of course, both models will also switch from Lightning to USB-C. Now, the AirPods Pros won't get updated this year, but apparently the AirPods Maxes finally will. However, despite them not getting an upgrade since 2020, the changes here are only said to be minor, with the biggest change being the switch from Lightning to USB-C in order to comply with EU regulations, which need to be complied to by the end of 2024. Other than this, nothing else has been rumored. No H2 chip, literally nothing. Now, honestly, I would still expect us to get the H2 chip. Even the H2 is already quite old at this point. So an upgrade from the H1 to the H2 I would say is quite likely. Maybe if we're lucky, some updated audio drivers too, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. To be honest, I do occasionally see people in public wearing AirPods Maxes. So they do sell, it's just that when compared to the standard and the Pro models, they of course sell considerably less. Probably why Apple just hasn't bothered updating them as often as all the other models. And finally, we may also see a brand new 7th generation iPad mini. It's already been 3 years since the iPad mini was last updated in September of 2021. The main change here is expected to be a new chip, which would either be the A18 or the A17 Pro, allowing for Apple Intelligence features. Aside from this, the front and the back cameras are set to be updated too, as well as a bump from Wi-Fi 6 to 6E, as well as from Bluetooth 5 to Bluetooth 5.3. The jelly issue is also set to be finally fixed, and that's about it. Now, aside from these 7 new products, we aren't really expecting anything else hardware-wise at the September event. There will be a new M4 Mac Mini and all the other MacBooks being updated, as well as the M4 iMac, but those are set to now be announced at a November event rather than October. So the only other announcement to expect aside from these 7 new products would be all the official software releases that Apple has announced back at WWDC in June. So things like iOS 18, iPadOS 18, and everything else. So which one of these 7 products are you looking forward to the most? And don't forget to check out our latest wallpaper specs by using the links below, and stay tuned for our final iPhone 16 leaks and rumors video. I'm Daniel, ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.